Today on CityCast Nashville, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are joined by the father-son duo behind Black Men Vent 2, Leon Davis Jr. and Jonathan Davis, winners of the Nashville Scene Readers Poll for Best Podcast in 2023 and are very worthy runners-up last year. They join us to talk about mental health, community, vulnerability, and their upcoming Spare Your Mind event happening this Saturday at Hermitage Strike and Spare. It's Thursday, May 28th. I'm Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Jonathan, if someone is having a bad mental health day, where do you recommend them go? Because I know you love to bowl, so I'm guessing that's maybe your first stop. So what's your favorite bowling alley?
You know, for me, bowling is one of those things where it started off as a true family tradition. My granddad and my grandmother walked me through Melrose Bowling Alley, 7, 8, 9 years old. And it's one of those things where I fell in love as I gained more experience. As I gained more experience and was able to really meet more people in the sport, I latched on to a mental health venture with it, I believe. Growing up, bowling in college, bowling in high school, for me, to roll that ball as hard as I can, throw it as hard as I can, no matter what I may be dealing with, just to get that extra force out. It helps. It helps. And other things that I do that I think could be very well recommended, going to the park. I go to Percy Priest all the time. I go to Centennial all the time, get a good walk in. You never can defeat nature when you're thinking about mental health. Mental health helps. But bowling, for sure, that's definitely number one.
I'm so glad you brought up Melrose because that's the bowling alley that I learned how to bowl.
Wow.
Wow.
And my bowling name always was Mafia Marie. Do y'all have bowling names?
Mafia Marie? Why they?
I was trying to scare my opponents, you know?
Look, I just said you was killing the competition, weren't you?
I was horrible, you guys. I broke my finger and I almost hurt somebody by dropping the ball and having it roll back. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Leon, what about you? What's the first thing you would do here in Nashville to help reset your mind?
It's funny that you ask because it's like the theme of our podcast. That's what we do in our podcast. He has a younger perspective. I have an older perspective. That's what makes us click so much. So my perspective is going to be a little bit different. And the first thing I do, and the reason I do it, because when we was dealing with some mental health issues in our family, I learned this technique, and it's a simple technique. 4 deep breaths in and take a slow take the breath out. So it's like breathe in and just let it out. 4 seconds. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. That's the first thing I've learned to do because I used to didn't respond like this. I used to just flip off at the handle. But now I've learned to try to control my emotions before I dive into a situation. And also, I go to prayer. I pray a lot. I'm a minister. I've been a minister for going on 23 years now. So I pray. But in all, when I want to get out, I like to go to the riverside. I like to walk along the riverside, me and my wife, down in downtown Nashville, right behind the Titan Stadium. And it's a great place to walk, very quiet, you know what I'm saying? And then also, sometimes I read. So I have a number of things that I do. But the most thing I like to do most is just really just, first of all, just take those deep breaths because, again, it's almost like a reset. It resets you before you dive into the situation. So I like to get that reset first and then attack the situation, whatever it is.
What does a real, full, good day in Nashville look like? Can you chill out in a city with so much construction and traffic? And does self-care have to cost money?
No. Self-care does not have to cost money, especially when you're in a city where everything is getting skyrocketed. You know, the rent is skyrocketed, gas is skyrocketed. So no, but just like I said, there are many inexpensive things you can do.
Our city's just growing, man. Like it's so weird to go to different areas and different places where these were once grandma and granddad's house, and now it looks nothing like that no more. But I agree with that. I'm just a nature person in general, but let's just say you're not and you want to do something inexpensive. Something that's inexpensive is involving yourself in a community in some shape, form, or fashion. Any way that you can better your mental health, I think it's better to join forces with someone else that can also be able to kind of share stories with you as well. It's not better to do mental health alone. And one thing I can say, our city is growing in a positive way behind expanding our community efforts. We got community events, different things going on, and just find your family. Just find your family, find your community, because it's a lot of communities that's involved in this ever-growing city of Nashville for sure.
Leon, I find it interesting that you said that you like to walk along the river around the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just learned that the Super Bowl is coming to Nashville in 2030.
Yes.
So what kind of mental health pressure can living in a growing city like Nashville put on you?
Man, what it will cause you to do is one of the old sayings. You'll try to keep up with the Joneses. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not going to be able to keep up. That's what we was talking when we was talking a little bit off mic. That's the reason I try to stay in my lane. I try to stay in my lane and whatever's comfortable for me. And here's another thing. Don't allow these outside forces to cause you to try to do something that you're not capable of doing. You have to have the capacity to do some of these things. And if you don't have the capacity to do it, don't allow yourself to get forced into doing things. Like my son just said, that's the reason you need a support group. You need somebody around you that can help you navigate through some of this stuff. Because like you said, this city is growing so fast. I've been here since 1983. And this city looks nothing like what I saw in 1983. It's a total facelift, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you get yourself caught up into everything that's going on, it'll spin you out of control. And you don't want to get spent out of control. You have to learn to slow yourself down. Stay in your lane and just allow your spirit to lead you in the right direction.
How did y'all get so wise?
Good question. I guess it comes with experience. Dad's been here since 1983. I wasn't even thought of in 1983. So since I've been here and just been able to naturally be a part of Nashville, I think, it's just interesting to see how the city's growing. I mean, Dad's spot on with what he's saying. You're seeing so many different dynamics in our city that will make you compare to the next person. It'll compare you to the next organization. And comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will rob you of your mental health. Right now, the Super Bowl, as you mentioned, is in 2030, right? We already have small businesses that's scrambling like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that to make sure that we're ready for the tourism boom that's coming in. Wait a minute. Take those 4 deep breaths that Dad mentioned. Because the Super Bowl, let's just be honest, guys, you can be here today and gone today. We used to say you can be here today and gone tomorrow. So we really have to take into account, don't let the Super Bowl and the glitz and glamour rob you of those 4 deep breaths, rob you of your nature time, rob you of your time with your children, rob you of your time with your family. We really got to focus on mental health in a different way, and that's what we do with our platform and our brand.
Looking for a getaway that feels a little more magical than your average hotel stay? Then you have got to check out Ancient Lore Village, tucked away in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. Designed to help guests disconnect from everyday life and reconnect with wonder and creativity. It feels like stepping into your own fantasy novel. Think whimsical cottages, scenic woodland trails, chef-crafted meals, berry dinners, medieval feasts, axe throwing, and immersive themed evenings that make it easy to forget real life for a while. Whether you're an all-out fantasy enthusiast or just looking for a unique girls' trip, romantic getaway, or weekend escape, Ancient Lore Village is one of the most unforgettable destinations in Tennessee. And starting June 5th, they've got even more memorable events and experiences lined up for the summer. Book your magical getaway today at ancientlorevillage.com. Let's get into your podcast. For people who haven't listened before, what made you start Black Men Vent 2 in the first place?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to try to give you a scaled down version. What happened was I used to have a men's group at my house. What made me come up with the idea, I wanted to give something back to my community. I knew I was getting older, but I knew that when you become older, if God has allowed you to live a certain length of life, you should want to give some of that wisdom back to somebody. So I tried to find a group that I could share wisdom with. So I knew my son was very popular. I told him to invite some of his friends to the group and let's just chat. And what we would do is, first we have a meal. My wife would develop a meal for us, and then we would develop questions. And we would put the questions in a bowl or a hat. And my son would invite like 6 or 7 of his friends. And when he invited them, what they would do after we had the meal, we would go in my man cave, and we would sit around in a group, and they would pull the questions out. And whatever the question was, each person in the room would give their perspective of the question. And again, it gave me a chance to listen to their hearts, give my wisdom on what the question was. So it was a real good back and forth, intertwined conversation. But COVID came. And when COVID came, it stopped everything. We couldn't do the in-person no more. So as COVID started to subside, then one day, me and my family, my wife, my youngest son, Joshua, and Jonathan and myself was in my driveway. And we were just kicking around ideas. And we're like, man, we need to come up with something that we can start these conversations back. Out of all of that, out of the conversation as to getting back together with my family, that's how we came up with the podcast Black Men Vent 2. That's how the podcast came alive. But let me show you something. It came alive, but we didn't breathe breath into it until about 6 months later, because we're master procrastinators. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we master procrastinators. But my son invited me to a sounds game. And from the sounds game, we said, man, you know what? We're going to do it. And from that point on, I think after we left the sounds game, about a month after that, that's when we got it started.
Well, Jonathan, I'd love for you to actually speak a little bit more about the importance that you're specifically giving Black men the ability to vent.
Our name and our brand is Black Men Vent 2. And it is Black Men Vent 2. We like to joke because if we were German Shepherds, we would be German Shepherds Vent 2. So you have to know that we're only utilizing the name based off of who we are. But that does not mean we don't shy away from any man, any woman, any race, ethnicity, gender. It does not matter. But we zeroed in on Black men because a situation this week that is currently going on right now in our Tennessee government with Mr. Tony Carruthers, he needs a platform to speak. Right? Him being on death row right now, that's a big thing. And I know we watched the news to see how that's going on. It's brothers like him that doesn't have a voice right now. It's brothers that are in jail for wrongful crimes that don't have a voice right now. Let's dumb it down a little more. It's a young man that is working at Target. He's doing his shift right now. He doesn't even know it. He's finna get laid off. He's got 3 kids at home and a wife. We do this podcast and this platform for that Black man that has to go home and look at his wife in her eye and be like, baby, I just lost my job. I really don't know what to do. The Breakfast Club, they won't interview a man like that. $1 million worth of game, the Pivot with LeBron James and all these other guys, they're not looking for the 9-to-5 Black man that gets up every day, walks out their door, and really wants to make a life and a legacy for himself and his kids. They're not looking for him, but we are. You know, it is so important that Black men really, really utilize our voice, especially in the climate that we're in right now, Miss Marie. You see what's going on in Memphis. You see what's going on in our districts right now. And it's sad. It's sad right now that the powers that be, whatever we may call them, are really, really uprooting everything that has been gained, I feel like, from a racial perspective, And what we want to do is just defy that stigma. We want to defy that stigma and naturally having a platform where you have a father and son, an old school, young school perspective. We literally can talk about anything. Let me say this while we're definitely on you guys' platform. We embrace all the therapists, all the counselors, psychiatrists, sociologists, anybody that is degreed behind what they do. All we want to do is just be the bridge from a need to a resource. If you have a need, Black man, we have a resource. If you have a need, white man, we have a resource. And that, again, is what we do away from just Black men only, but naturally being Black men, that's how we govern our brand and platform.
So as that bridge, what have you learned about what happens when people bottle up stress, grief, trauma, or anger?
Yeah. I'll say a little bit on that. 1 or 2 things is going to happen. Either you're going to implode or you're going to explode. Implode means you're gonna blow up from the inside out, or either you're gonna blow up from the outside in. One of those gonna happen. Either you're gonna implode or explode. So you have to have an outlet. And that's the reason we want to have a platform so a person can have an outlet. And then if they need any resources after they leave from our platform, if they need any other resources, that's how we bridge them to the professionals. You know what I'm saying? But we want to give you a platform so that you can start unpeeling or pulling back the layers on what you're dealing with. And a lot of times they won't come into a space because they think they're going to be judged. And one thing we let people know that come on our podcast, it's a no judgment zone. I don't care what you've done. It don't matter to me. All I want you to do is give us your story so that your story might help another person that's dealing with the same thing you're dealing with. And if they hear your story, it gives them another option. Sometimes that's all a person needs is another option. And that's what we're trying to do, is give them another option so that you don't do something that's going to be detrimental for your family and yourself.
Well, Jonathan, I'm just zooming in and looking at your merch that you're wearing right now. You guys are masterful brand experts, it seems also. So I was perusing your website, and some of your merch even says mental health is real.
Oh, yeah.
So why is it important to be that direct and visible about that?
The best way that I can say it is, whether it's at your home, our home, mental health will touch your front porch at some point in your livelihood. It's going to be as real as we're sitting here having this conversation. We had an experience with a family member roughly 4 or 5 years ago now. It hit our front porch. And a lot of times you can't run to the police, especially, you know, with us being Black men. We know the history. We know kind of what's happened in other areas, if you will. Where do you go when mental health hits your front porch? Where do you go when mental health is as real as the conversation we're having right now? Black Men Vent 2 wants to be the #1 mental health brand and platform in the state of Tennessee, in the city of Nashville, that gives you that outlet. You may not want to talk on the podcast. So that's why we have merch. You may not like the merch. That's why my dad teaches financial literacy to anybody and everybody, because we know you like money. So naturally, we have 3 different services under our brand and umbrella, being Black Men Vent 2. And the merch, we like to say that our merch is a walking billboard to further push the podcast. We like to say, like Deion Sanders, he says, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. So what we like to say, as a spinoff to that, is with our merchandise, the Peace Collection, if you look good, you'll feel better knowing that our brand and our podcast and our apparel represents mental health being real in a special way.
How has talking about mental health changed your relationship as father and son?
Wow. I tell you what, it has really, for me, it's allowed me to hear his heart. And I know he's heard my heart when we hear people come on our show and they really be transparent with their stories. It's so touching sometimes to hear somebody and some of the things that they've been through, and to hear my son, you know, try to elaborate on it, then I try to elaborate on it. I think we get a chance to hear each other's heart from a different level. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows me. He's been knowing me all his life. I've been knowing him all his life. But there were still sometimes layers that have not been uncovered yet. And I think sometimes this podcast helps us to do that with each other.
We really get real, raw, and authentic with our guests. The first half of our platform, we like to say, is barbershop style conversation. We talk about school life. We talk about, you know, your parents, maybe what you do day to day. But that second half, we peel that onion back really on the mental health story of our guests that come on. Me and my dad have cried with the guests. We've had tissue all over the podcast table. It's been one of those things where, you know, with me and my dad, it has really, really kind of opened up our relationship to where we have podcasts after the podcast, where we'll talk even more about just how God has blessed us. And again, you know, just the father and son relationship. It hasn't been peaches and cream our whole life. Of course, we've had different bouts and different things, but the love that you have for your father, the love that a father has for his son, that's the stigma that we're trying to defy, and the thing that we're trying to amplify in the community is to understand that, you know, mental health is real. And naturally, when you can do it and kind of tackle the issue with your dad, it's a pretty dope experience to have for sure.
All right, well, bringing it back to your love of bowling and Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all have your third annual Spare Your Mind at Hermitage Strike and Spare this Saturday. So will y'all tell us about it, and who is it benefiting?
This Saturday, you're not doing nothing, at least from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're not doing nothing during that time. Guys, bring your daughters, bring your sons, bring your aunt, your uncle, bring your dog, anybody that wants to be a part of this event. Guys, this is our third year. This is the way that we get away from the microphone. Again, Miss Marie, everybody doesn't want to talk, right? Everybody doesn't want to vent. But everybody loves bowling. I can't really think of nobody that doesn't love a good game of bowling. And guys, again, this is our third annual Spare Your Mind doubles bowling tournament, and it is a fundraising effort to raise money towards a mental health organization of our choosing. This year, guys, we're honoring Clemmy Greenlee and the Nashville Peacemakers. Please, 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 if you hear my voice, Google the Nashville Peacemakers, guys, a great organization that has done great work over the years, guys. They've been 10 plus years into being boots on the ground, doing what they do, and we'll be honoring them this year. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to see at the bowling alley, because you're going to see a lot. First things first, I can't think of no other bowling alley that you've been into where you'll walk in and see free haircuts being given inside the bowling alley. Guys, if you're looking scruffy, to all my men, I know it's been a rough month for you guys. Check this out, man. Come get your beard trimmed up, man. Your wife don't want to see you looking like that all the time. Come get your beard trimmed up. We have vendors that'll be there, and these vendors are naturally catered towards some type of advocacy for mental health. We have raffle prizes. We got some nice raffle prizes. Some really nice ones. I won't say them yet, but we got some nice raffle prizes. A live DJ. We're going to keep you moving on your feet. If you're not moving on the bowling alley, you'll be dancing and tapping to some great music. And above all else, man, it's a great, great networking experience. For those that will be bowling and will sign up to bowl, the beautiful thing about the event, you don't know who your doubles partner is going to be. So that is going to open up the capacity of conversation amongst each participant that is at our event. Mind you, me and my dad are avid bowlers. Again, I've been bowling all my life collegiately. So it's a reason why I'm not bowling. I don't know how to have fun doing it. So I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to stay out of it.
We're very competitive.
Yes, but it's going to be a great event, guys. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Hermitage Strike and Spare, 3436 Lebanon Road. We'd love to have you. Love for you to be a part of the event.
Amazing. We'll put all that information in today's show notes.
Yeah.
And I've already gotten to the very last question, but I could talk to y'all all day. We always like to ask guests if they could talk to the mayor, what would they say? So thinking about Nashville Peacemakers and other violence interrupters like Gideon's Army, what would you ask the city to do to back them up?
First thing I would ask the city to do is put the funds in the right place. We give funds to people and organizations, but a lot of times they're just collecting, but they're not utilizing the funds in the right way, in my perspective, because like my son said, we've been in this for going on 5 years, and I've seen how the funds go, and I've seen what they do. Let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes it's only for the cameras, because once the cameras go out, then there's no boots on the ground. That's what me and my son try to specialize on. You're not only going to see us on the mic, you will see me in the community. You will see me in the community for different events, because we want people to know that we're not just on the mics and that's the only time you see us advocating for mental health. I advocate for mental health every day because I know if COVID was a pandemic, well, mental health is a pandemic now. I would tell the powers that be to put the monies in the right places. Do some research and see what the people are really doing with these monies.
Any small business right now, we see the climate of our political world and what's going on. Me and my dad on our platform, we don't base anything to the political arena, if you will, but we understand that that's a direct impact on small businesses. It's a direct impact on racism and all these different things. And I just want to ditto what Dad said. Funding is all over this city. It's money here. We don't know where it's going, but it's money here. And we just need to put the money in the places where people are doing the work. Gideon's Army, we know who that is. We've connected with them. Mayor Freddie O'Connell has been on our show. And naturally, even he said that mental health just needs more funding and it needs more of
Yes, he did.
a boots on the ground effort from these small organizations. Black Men Vent 2, Mental Health Co-op, NAMI Tennessee, Martha O'Brien. It goes on and on and on, and we don't want to leave nobody out. But I think the biggest thing, if we're going to prepare for the Super Bowl, we need to prepare for the mental health things that are going to come up from everybody driving themselves crazy to try to get to the Super Bowl. So we have to really, really understand what's more important, the Super Bowl ticket or getting funding towards mental health organizations that's going to help us better enjoy that Super Bowl ticket.
Amen. Amen.
Well, folks at home, they have over 200 episodes for you to check out. Black Men Vent 2, available on all streaming platforms. Check out their event this Saturday. And again, thank you all so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Marie, for having us. I tell you what, I don't mind being second if you're going to be this nice.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm ready to give you the first award because I'm just blown away by you guys.
Yes.
So you have it. Honorary. I kneel to you. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. You guys are wonderful. Thanks again for making time for us. That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!